A massive thank you to F1 fan, Uncle Jeremy, Bob, McGod, Martin and Simon for subscribing to the channel. If you're already featured in these clips, make sure you subscribe down below. Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back with Season 5 of the F1 2021 My Team Career Mode. Yes, of course, if you missed out the video that went live, I want to say last Thursday, last year in fact, of course, when we went through and did our pre-season testing news and everything like that. Wasn't the most eventful winter break. No driver transfers whatsoever as we head into Season 5 of the My Team Career Mode. Maybe we'll see a bit of a shake-up ready for Season 6, but obviously depending on what happens, I'm considering doing a reset down the line here on F1 2021. Perhaps we'll go over to PC and do some modded stuff in the future. That is yet to be decided at this stage of the game. But as always, though, a massive, massive thank you to all of you guys for the insane and continued support on the channel at the moment. You know, we're getting close to now 33,000 subscribers. I've set my goals now for 2022. If you aren't already, do make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're aiming for 50k this year as sort of my first goal. 50k, and then optimistically, I'd love to be at 75k, you know, looking towards the six-figure mark, ready for 2023. But yeah, if you aren't already, please do get yourself subscribed. It would be massively, massively appreciated. But yeah, diving though into the weekend, you can see all of the performance charts there. Red Bull, us, Mercedes, Ferrari, McLaren, all pretty much at level pegging at this stage of the game. It is really anyone's guess as to who will be on top this season. But yeah, let's dive in then here to the Bahrain Grand Prix weekend. Right, well here we are then, back for the first laps in the V5 Challenger here from 212 Motorsport. And must admit, although I liked the different colour combinations last season, I'm quite a fan of going back to the orange on the car as well. But yeah, really no idea what this season is going to hold. Of course, reliability is the big question.
Get ready to open it. Distance is on your MFD.
Jeff, he's still as annoying as always. But yeah, reliability, though, is really going to be what makes or breaks this championship, I think, for a lot of runners. So we'll have to wait and see as to what happens with that, obviously, as the season unfolds. Of course, just the one mechanical failure last year back at the Italian Grand Prix, which basically put pay to any sort of hopes I had at a Drivers' Championship. But let me know down in the comments below whether you guys would still like me to feature, obviously, free practice sessions. Obviously, I still run them in the background, but there's just no real need. Obviously, where we're not earning R&D points, or we're earning them, but we don't need them for anything. I'm just wondering whether it's something you guys want to see. I know it's only a small bit of footage at the start of the weekend, but yeah, let me know down in the comments below if that's something you guys would like to see still this year, or whether you'd just like me to jump into qualifying. But so far this track acclimatization lap's going pretty well. Car feels pretty good. It's obviously right towards the end of last season. You know, once we got that final Honda Power Unit upgrade in, the car seemed to get a whole lot better again. But yeah, what this year will hold, anybody's guess at the moment. But really, yeah, if we're ever going to fight for a championship, now has got to be that time. Up over the line, green score. Right, on to our qualifying simulation run then, a 23.7 is the time to beat. I'm running a very, very high aero setup this weekend, but yeah, I don't think that's going to make much difference down the straights. Car beyond fast. And out of the final corner then to finish off our qualifying simulation run. We're not too far away from the pace, but certainly lacking a little bit.
Hit our program targets. Come in and take a look at the data, and if we have time, we'll rerun the program.
Yeah, anyway, let's get into qualifying then here. First race of the year in Sakir. Right, well here we are then, qualifying day in the Bahrain Grand Prix, and fingers crossed, you know, Q1, I'm going to see if it's just the same story as it was towards the end of last year, of just Haas, Alfa and Williams out in the first session here. Should only take us the one run to try and get the lap hooked up. Yeah, we definitely need to be looking down in the 23s this weekend, but yeah, if it's the same sort of story, we won't do many Q1s this year. There were plenty of talks over the winter break as to whether Lewis Hamilton would retire from Formula 1, but he's decided to come back for another year with Mercedes, and decided the first thing he's going to do is block me on my qualifying run. So we head up the hill. They're actually having to go half throttle. Just no confidence in the dirty air behind the Merc. But anyway, down in towards the final couple of corners of the lap. If he can give us a handy slipstream, perhaps I won't mind too much, but he certainly hasn't helped me much on this run through the final corner. Back into fourth gear. They're all on the power out of the final turn, but they are looking to get a nice little toe towards the line. And it's going to be a 23.3. Fastest so far. They're ahead of Ricciardo and Valtteri Bottas, and that's exactly how we need to kickstart the year there. Whether it will last, I'm not so sure. But that is the dream start to Q1. And there we go then, the end of Q1. Charles Leclerc and his Ferrari fastest there on a 22.6. So we were still a little way off the pace. Looks like AlphaTauri are right up in the running as well there. But Ferrari ahead of Lando Norris, both Red Bulls 3rd and 4th. How big was the gap back to the back markers? Yeah, 9/10 of a second. Mick Schumacher actually doing very well though to drag that Haas clear of both of the Williams there, so that's good to see from him. But it's going to be tight whether we make it out of Q2. We're probably going to be needing a 1:22 lap time, which is insane here in Sakir. Right, we're heading out there for our first run in Q2. Decided we're going to go out on the mediums, not so much to try and put a time in that sees us getting into Q3, but more just try and get our eye in as much as anything else there, as Checo immediately back down into the 22. So it looks like Red Bull certainly have still got some pace in the car. It's just a case of everyone slowly getting rid of all the sandbags as we go throughout the rest of qualifying. But down in towards turn 1. That was pretty nicely slowed down, but you can just see these mediums. You can't roll on the power like you do on the softs there, and that is certainly going to mean this run, if there was any slim chance of it being good, that's gone completely out the window. Heading up in towards Sector 3. I think we're going to count ourselves lucky if this one's a sub 125. Never mind a sub 23 that we're looking for come the end of qualifying there. 8/10 off Sir Lancelot as we head down in towards the final turn. Should be both Astons and both Alpines out in Q2, but who's going to join them is the real question. It might end up being Guan Yu Zhou or myself, but end of our first run then. Certainly a very bad one, but it is still a 24.8, so we need about 1.9 seconds. Right, come on then, 50 seconds left on the clock as we get ready to start our final run here in Q2. We don't really want to start the year with a Q2 outing, but it doesn't always completely ruin your strategy here in Bahrain. Of course, you can do medium hard tyres, which can bring you a bit of luck during the race, try and push you up the order a bit. But anyway, braking down at turn 1, stamping on the brakes at about the 100-metre board there. No wheel spin on the exit that time. And then up into 5th gear there, attack the curbs on the exit as you slingshot your way through the second DRS zone there. Already 9/10 found off our first lap, so that's exactly what we like to see. Taking a bit too much curb though at the top of the hill as we really try and put the power down again. Feels like this season qualifying laps are going to be so critical, and you're going to have to be right on the limit balancing these cars on a knife edge as we head out of the hairpin. Avoid the curbing on the exit. That's meant we're now 1.2 up as we head into the horrible turn 9, turn 10. No lockup. Oh, a tiny snag on the way in, but really got on the power nicely nonetheless. They're 1.5 seconds up now as we head down the support pit straight. Braking just after the 100 board into the first part of the S's as we try and then climb back up the hill. We are still finding time absolutely everywhere at the moment. Completely pinned near enough as we head now down in through Sector 3. All over the curb in there as we're now 1.8 seconds up. Is this run going to be good enough to see us through into Q3 to kickstart the year in good way? One more corner to go. 3rd gear on the way in, 4th on the way out. 1.9 seconds up. We're basically exactly where I said we needed to be there. And that's going to be a 22.9. And surely that's enough for Q3. Well, there we go. That was basically as good a lap as I'm going to get in qualifying there. Lando Norris down to a 22.4. So phenomenal pace coming from our teammate here in his first race back in Bahrain. But Max Verstappen just 0.5 away ahead of Yuki Tsunoda there. 4 cars from 4 different teams inside the top 4 there. Hamilton, though, out in Q1 behind Guan Yu Zhou. So that is dramatic scenes to kickstart Hamilton's year there. You know, he wants to come back and win an extra World Championship, but that is not going to be the way to start that. Like I said, though, could be a threat come race day if he uses the alternate strat to his advantage, because Mercedes are certainly not off the pace. Yeah, let's get into Q3 then. I think if we can find any more time over that, I'll be pretty happy. I tell you what, these maxed out cars in F1 2021 are so rewarding when you get them hooked up, but so difficult to do so with. They are absolutely always on a knife edge, like I said in Q2. I think we're going to have to really concentrate on our Q3 laps if we want to try and find any more time. But again, we're just seeing what we can do, how high up the order we can get. Of course, this first lap is a bit of a banker still. Then, of course, we'll chase the Delta second time round. Max Verstappen, a 22.0 there to kickstart Q3. So Red Bull are now finally starting to let their car completely unleash its full potential out of the final corner up towards start-finish line. What are we going to do? Is it going to be a 22? No, a 23.0. A 10th off Ricciardo and Sainz, quicker than Guan Yu Zhou. But boy, oh boy, Red Bull have certainly still built a very fast race car. Right, come on then. Final run here in Bahrain. It's certainly been a very, very interesting qualifying session so far, but I might need a bit of sweat mode for this lap.
Just 30 seconds left in the session.
You're absolutely right. 30 seconds just under as we cross over the start-finish line, and let's get in to our final lap in complete anger here for Bahrain. Oh, made a bit of a hash of that, but we're still 2.5 tenths up as we head down in towards the final corner here. Let me know if you'd like to see more sweat mode laps return in the future. But one more corner to go. Oh, big snap there as we tried to put the power down. And we're going to be about 2.8 tenths up as we cross the finish line there. And that is, I think, 7th on the grid, which, I'll be honest, I'll take with that lap. Well, there we go then, the end of Q3, and it is Max Verstappen who takes home pole position there. Red Bull certainly kept that pace quiet right till the end of the weekend. But yeah, 3 cars from the top 3 from 3 different teams there. Lando P2, Charles Leclerc in P3. Sergio Perez, very good job done by him in 4th, ahead of the sole Mercedes of Yuki Tsunoda here that made it into Q3. But starting 7th then on the grid for the first race of the year, I'm so excited to get into this. Some of you guys said to sim this year, but if it's going to be like this, I'm ready and waiting to get going.
Months of rumour and speculation all come to an end today as we return to racing for the opening event of what promises to be an enthralling season. Welcome along then to round 1 of this year's Formula One World Championship. There's no shortage of passing opportunities around the 3.36 miles of the Bahrain International Circuit, with the best at turn 1 of course, and then another soon into turn 4. 15 corners here, 6 to the left and 9 to the right, and we could see 1 or 2 flat spots into the tight left-hander of turn 10. A new season then, a clean slate where anything could happen. Anthony Davidson is with me today as we get another year of Formula One underway.
We're into those tense few minutes before the first race then. Everyone's a little bit nervous about reliability. They haven't been running in the hot, turbulent wake of other cars in practice, and they've not been pushing at 100% for long durations. Let's hope no one has to deal with any nasty surprises.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he starts from pole position. And Lando Norris lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Perez, Yuki Tsunoda, and Gasly, Mr. Monaco, Ricciardo, Sainz, and Guan Yu Zhou, Hamilton, Bottas, Esteban Ocon, and Russell, Mazepin, Stroll, Mick Schumacher, and Callum Ilott, Latifi, Schwartzman, Giovinazzi, and Christian Lundgaard. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Right, well, here we are then on the grid, ready for the start of Season 5 of the My Team Career Mode here. What are we going to be able to achieve this weekend? I'm so excited to get into this, though. Is the one-stop going to be doable on this set of tyres? The game doesn't reckon it is, but with a lot less fuel in the car, we might be able to get a bit closer to that than the game originally suspects there. If we count one-stop, oh no, it would obviously be softs to hards, wouldn't it, if we were going to do anything. So that, the game might reckon is doable. Yeah, no, so the game reckons that's possible then. So yeah, we'll wait and see if we can get the tyres to lap sort of 12, 13, and then we could try new mediums to the end there, but it might have to be soft to hards this weekend. Obviously, underfueling the car by a fair bit will make that up as the race goes on, but just got to keep it clean and tidy down in towards turn 1 here. A lot of cars so evenly matched, it is really anyone's guess as we get ready to start Season 5 of the My Team Career Mode. 5 red lights. And it is going to be a very long hold. Lights out and away we go. And I'm far too used to trying to launch the F2 cars because that was an awful start. As we head down in towards turn 1 there, Ricciardo and Guan Yu Zhou. But we're going to go straight back up the inside in towards the first corner there, making the best of a bad situation. A little bit of contact with Ricciardo on the exit, but put the power down around the outside. And we do hold on to P7 then off the start of the Grand Prix there. The Australian has lost another place there, and Guan Yu Zhou, has made up 3 spots. Sorry, 2 spots even off the start there, past Sainz and Ricciardo, as we head down in towards the S's on lap 1. 3 Honda-powered cars from 3 different teams in a row there. Myself behind Pierre Gasly and Sergio Perez, as we've actually got, of course, the 4th of Guan Yu Zhou behind us. Are AlphaTauri actually going to be a threat for race victories this year? Only time will tell, but already Max Verstappen trying to check out at the front of the field here. Strategy, though, today is going to be absolutely pivotal in this race, seeing who will come out on top. But again, you can just see down the straightaways, Gasly looking mighty fast at the moment. Probably using a lot of battery, though, early on. You know, DRS trains around here are going to be crucial as the day goes on, and also, of course, focusing on what Lewis Hamilton will do. He's the bit of the unknown in this whole situation early on. I don't think he's made much progress off the start. In fact, he's lost the place to Bottas by the looks of it. But, big lock up in towards the final corner. Luckily, we were able to cadence brake there and get it slowed down. But Verstappen leads at the end of lap 1. I'm pretty certain it is still Lando in P2 ahead of Charles Leclerc, Yuki Tsunoda, Perez, Gasly, myself, Zhou, Ricciardo, and Carlos Sainz round out the top 10. Gasly, big lock-up already on just lap 2. See how hard the AlphaTauri man's pushing. And I'm already starting to worry that he's just falling back behind Checo a little bit. That's not going to help me out, though, as we get all over the curbing through turn 10. But we are still going to be within range of Gasly when the DRS gets enabled.
Green flag.
Oh, we've already got yellow flags out as well. That's one of the Williams with issues. I'm guessing they've just locked up and ran deep. Right, about to start lap 4 then of this Grand Prix. We're all over the back still of Pierre Gasly at the moment as we head over the start-finish line.
3.3 seconds.
Trying to close in on Pierre. Thought about ascending to turn 1, but we just need to be a little bit closer or a little bit braver there. But either way, Gasly was not going to give us the room that time round, but we're certainly now filling his mirrors. Guan Yu Zhou's dropping back already early on. Perhaps qualifying was a bit of a flash in the pan. Not sure at the moment whether I'd want to see Gasly fall out of the DRS range of Sergio Perez just in front of him. If he did, he would be easy pickings for us. But of course, on the other hand, if he did, we wouldn't be within the range of Perez either when we got the move done. But all over the back still of Pierre Gasly as we head back down towards turn 1. Gap coming down to about quarter of a second. That time round we'll send it, make it very, very clear to Pierre, and it's our first overtake of the year properly. And we're now up at a 6th.
Maneuver. You made it look easy.
Make sure we stick in the range, though, of Sergio as we head up towards the top of the hill. That is going to be key today.
Okay, you're catching the car ahead.
And look at that, Gasly already dropping outside the range from us, so he was clearly hanging on by a thread early on in this race as we go for a nice lock-up in towards turn 1. We've definitely got some good pace here, and we're building up confidence in the car as well. But Verstappen now out of range, I think, from Lando Norris in P2. He's just trying to check out at this race early. The fronts are already starting to bleed, it feels like. Early on, we're struggling a little bit to get the car rotated and pushed through a couple of the corners. That one is definitely one of them. But I'll be honest, this race early on is feeling like a league race. Just everyone's so even on pace. Obviously, the DRS train as well. Very much become a staple of league racing in recent years on F1. But everyone, you know, they feel like equal cars at the moment, all of us front runners. But of course, they've all got their own unique characteristics, which is still really, really good to see. Perez and Tsunoda still just in front of us. We are definitely getting close to Checo down the start-finish straight. Team reckon the tyres are still fine. We've just got to be careful with the fronts under braking. There is another little breakaway there. Look at that. Cars into the pit lane then. So that's Lando, Leclerc and Checo into the pits.
Lando in the pits.
Luckily, we're still going to have some DRS from Tsunoda just in front of us. But surely all of these guys then are two-stopping this race. And this is where things could get rather interesting. If you look at the gaps this lap, we've actually taken a fair bit of time out of Verstappen and Yuki Tsunoda here. So maybe the pace isn't all bad early on in this race. Maybe everyone's in a bit of the same boat there. Verstappen into the pits, Tsunoda into the box as well. So I'm going to try and see if we can find out what tyres they're on.
So push now.
We're still saying hard tyres now. And to be honest, I think this might have to be the lap we dive it in. Because, yeah, these tyres are definitely still bleeding. And, of course, I don't want to get undercut badly. And then be outside the DRS range as well, of course. If they have all gone mediums, which it looks like, well, Hamilton and Ocon are. I don't think we're going to find out who else is. Yeah, they're going to drop off the radar. But, yeah, I'd be inclined to believe they're all two-stopping at the moment. But if we go hards and they've also done it, then we're on fresh rubber anyway. Right, come on then, final couple of corners of lap 9. Let's box in. Make sure we're clean and tidy on the way into the pit lane. Get through the final corner. Use up all of our battery. Yeah, we've still obviously always now. ERS is just never an issue on F1 2021. 43 miles an hour into the pits, and hopefully now we're going to find out what everyone else is doing in this race. Hamilton's going to take the lead, and he's looking pretty comfortable at the moment. Of course, all of those guys are racing to close back up to the Mercedes. But are we going to get a nice, clean, tidy stop to start the year? 2.7 isn't great, but it isn't bad either. And Verstappen, he's on soft, so he's two-stopping. A lot of these guys are on mediums, though.
One stop to go. One stop left in this strategy.
So I think they're all two-stopping at the moment, as we try not to Maldonado, Yuki Tsunoda, back into turn 1. But we're on cold rubber, so we're going to have to be a bit careful over this next lap or so. Tsunoda's also on softs. So yeah, they're all definitely two-stopping this. So if we can stick close with them for a few laps, maybe get ourselves back in the DRS, this race could really go our way very quickly. But of course, a safety car, on the other hand, could completely screw us. Look at that, everyone's getting held up by Lance Stroll at the moment. It looks like Lando was the only one to get round him, and that's going to really help us out. Thank you very much, Sir Lance, because it's going to mean we're back in the range there. As look at that, 2-3 wide. So they head back in towards turn 1 there. Everyone trying to make moves back past the Aston Martin. And yeah, he has really helped us out early on in this GP. Perez has to cut over the curbing to make the move work. We get all over the curbing on the exit. There is Tsunoda now to the outside of the Canadian. Is he going to be able to pull it off? We're just kind of sat waiting in the wings at the moment. We need to try and get past Lance as well nice and quickly. Don't lose any ground as he's now trying to screw us. But we do make the move work. We're now back up inside the points there, but so many lapped cars and slower cars in the way at the moment. Verstappen's also getting caught out by all this. So really, it's all playing into Hamilton's hands. But again, we've just got to be careful on the rubber, because we have got to try and get this to the end of the race. But yeah, this is all getting very, very complicated early on. Setting off lap 12, though, we got yellow flags out now in the Grand Prix, and it looks to be Lewis Hamilton, our race leader, out of the Grand Prix. We're going to have a look at the inside of Yuki Tsunoda. Back down in towards turn 1, but Hamilton out of the first race of the year, and it was a terrible weekend on the whole for the Mercedes man. Yeah, we've somehow got past Tsunoda through all that. Not too sure whether there's some yellow flag manipulation there. Lando's moved past Nikita Mazepin, who's holding up an absolute trolley train at the moment. But yeah, this race is just all action so far, and drama for Lewis Hamilton. We were wondered about how the reliability would affect people, and if Hamilton wanted to fight for a championship, it's moments like that in the very first race weekend of the year that are going to completely cost him. All over the back of Sergio and Charles Leclerc. Their big lock-up from one of them. As now Tsunoda trying to look back past me. Of course, he's still on soft tyres, so this has completely ruined him at the moment. But yeah, this is all getting very, very complicated there. Looks like Verstappen has moved past Ocon at the front of this train there, as Lando really trying to close up. But this is all just frantic, frantic racing as we try to navigate our way through all the slower cars. Both Alpines holding up everyone. An absolute treat at the moment, but in towards the final corner of lap 12 here. Almost at the halfway stage already of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Look at how early Sergio's braking in towards that final corner there. It's going to cost us the run on the exit, though. Both McLarens nowhere in the picture at the moment as well. There is Mazepin now. Lets Leclerc by
5/10 per lap.
Is Sergio going to be able to get close enough? No, he's not. We will therefore have a look past Sergio in towards turn 1. And 2 moves pulled off in 2 laps there. Give him a little bit of room there. Squeeze him out over the inside curbing through turn 2. And now up into what? About net P5. Whilst all this is going on, though, we need to try and look past Nikita Mazepin as soon as possible, and that's going to be our window. Up the inside, in through the hairpin. A very, very aggressive move. I think Nikita probably should have been expecting it. Tried to turn in, but having none of that. Oh, Sergio! Where's Sergio Perez come from? Out around the outside. And Sergio now makes contact with Tsunoda, so it's all kicking off. Still in this race. I feel like I've said that like 8 times in the last 3 laps, but now we're 1.6 behind Leclerc. We need to try and stay close, or hope Russell holds him up, and then we can get back in the DRS. Oh, there we go. Esteban Ocon into the box as well. At the end of that lap, George Russell's going to have to go 1 longer, as I'm guessing Stroll's coming in, as Leclerc passes George Russell.
That's P5.
So yeah, we are net P4 now of the race, but again, all these guys are going to have to pit, and we're hoping not to do so. Verstappen's on another set of softs, and all their best life is now behind them, trying to squabble his way through those cars. So we are, yeah, really in a strong position right now. Right, end of lap 14. All over the back now of George Russell. Would rather have the DRS off him if we possibly can, of course, because he is probably going to box at the end of this one. Nice to see the AI, though, can do about half a race, sorry, I should say, on a set of tyres there. Half a lap probably wouldn't be good publicity for Pirelli, but we're now 2 seconds back from Leclerc.
Lift and coast, please. Lift and coast.
So, of course, one of the big unknowns from this race, Hamilton, already out. So, yeah, now it's just a case of trying to maintain pace. Effectively now, we're trying to go from here to the end of the Grand Prix as smoothly, as consistently as possible. We might not even have to make another on-track overtake. We might have to defend a bit towards the end, because I'm sure Verstappen is going to push right to the flag. And there we go, Verstappen into the pits at the end of lap 16, so he's going to be going on to mediums to see him through to the end of the Grand Prix, and that's going to be the gap that we've got to try and monitor here between myself and young Maximilian. Don't think he's really going to come out behind any slower traffic. And of course, when all these guys box as well, he'll be right back up, probably on our radar. He's going to be close with Guan Yu Zhou. I think Max has just about hung on. Yes, he has. So yeah, Verstappen then is probably, what, about 18 seconds behind me, I want to say. 14, 13 laps to do it. It's going to be close by the end. Oh, we got more yellow flags out. This time around, I think it's one of the slower cars in the race. Is it a back marker? I think it's one of the Alfa Romeos. They might have sorted the issue now. Perhaps they just ran deep down at T10. And there we go. Lando and Charles Leclerc into the box at the end of lap 18. Are we going to see Gasly and Perez in behind? Yes, we are. So all 4 cars into the pit lane there. Of course, Sainz further back won't be able to box just yet. But now we're going to be able to have a look at where Verstappen is on the radar. 11 laps to go of this race, and the gap, about 13 seconds there, as Verstappen at 25.6. New fastest lap of the day, so we're now going to be able to monitor that. He needs a second a lap between now and the end, but those tyres towards the end of this race are going to go off. Then again, of course, so will ours, if they even make it that far. Max Verstappen just getting caught up behind Carlos Sainz through the twisty bits. He's going to help him if he can get some DRS off him. Yeah, definitely through there he's going to cost himself a little bit of time. He needed 1.2 seconds on us over the course of that lap, and the gap's come down by 1.1 seconds. It is going to be mighty close to the end of this race. You guys do not want to go anywhere towards the end of this one, but now Verstappen's going to take P2. He sets another fastest lap of the day, though, in the process, and he did take 1.2 out of us on that lap.
Put up the fastest lap of the race so far.
He is now going to be all guns blazing to close this up. 12 seconds, 10 laps. Come on, we can do this. Right, come on then, Italian Jesus. You need to go out of the way as well, mate. Gap to Verstappen. Hasn't come down as much as he would have wanted. The pace is still maintaining pretty consistent on these hard tyres there. And Gio's going to really help me. He's going to give us some DRS. And then might jump out of the way now. We'll take all the slipstream. We've got to get everything we possibly can out of the car at the moment. I mean, yeah, look at that. We're still setting sort of mid to high 26s. So unless Verstappen ups his pace, the gap just isn't going to be able to come down enough, because we're still driving fast enough at the moment there. The gap 11 seconds still. With 8 laps to go, Verstappen is not doing this. What's wrong with him? He's losing loads of time down the straights. Maybe he's got an issue here. Gap to Leclerc and Norris is staying even. But yeah, Verstappen is not closing up. Look at that, Charles Leclerc now, fastest lap of the day. So what's going on with Charles? I mean, the gap between him and Max is now down to just 7.5. Verstappen is on slightly older rubber than the Ferrari. But what is happening to Max Verstappen here? The gap's still coming down slightly, but nowhere near what it needs to be. And 6 laps to go of this Grand Prix. Is the unthinkable about to happen. Oh, thank you very much, Robert Schwartzman, just getting out of the way there nicely on the inside. But Verstappen now.
5 laps of fuel remaining.
Gap under 10 seconds. We're now even on the fuel again. So yeah, we've recovered 4 laps worth in 24 laps. I wish we could underfuel the car even more now on F1 2021. But yeah, 5 laps to go here. And it's all starting to seem a bit real.
Be careful, we think you're going to start losing some tyre grip around now.
I would love to see Callum Ilott in a better car than that Williams. Maybe, just maybe, his potential teammate down the line, because of course he was so good at the start of last campaign there, and to see him battling right at the very back is not quite what I want on F1 2021. Alfa Romeo definitely, though, have built the worst car this year. Early on, looks like Haas and Williams could be having a battle for P10. You know, if we get a crazy enough race, maybe there's a couple of points that could be available for either of those teams. But yeah, 4 laps to go. Gap still 9 seconds. Verstappen has got nothing. Maybe he's been told just to bring the car home. Maybe Red Bull are just having a couple of small reliability gremlins. Of course, the durability department, the only one affected as we head into this year. But we have smashed the regs. Come to Bahrain, and hopefully, unless something goes catastrophically wrong late on, car's still a little bit on a knife edge, I can't lie, but it's all starting to fall into place. Oh, yellow flag's out. Looks like Sergio Perez has had a bit of a spin on what he needed late on in the day, and he's going to drop back behind Tsunoda once more. Well, as we lap Nicholas Latifi,
2 laps of fuel left.
1 more lap to go then, here from the Bahrain Grand Prix. Verstappen, the gap does seem to be coming down a little bit more again. There is, I always get a bit worried when you lap an AI and then suddenly the arrow shows up a whole lot more on the proximity. But
This is your final lap of the race.
with no safety car intervention or anything like that, I thought there would be no chance we'd be in this position as we start the final lap of the GP there. Verstappen goes fastest, but he is powerless to what is about to happen here in the first race of the campaign. We've had such a rough first 4 seasons, a couple of wins here or there. I honestly thought last season could be finally the time when we're in the championship fight there, but Red Bull and Mercedes, the absolute might of those 2 companies, were just able to get that extra bit of performance out of the car a bit before we could discover it, ready for Season 5 there. But this season, if ever there's going to be a season where we're going to be able to fight for a crown, surely now has got to be that moment there. We've seen winners before in Bahrain go on to wrap up the championship. Of course, Verstappen managed it last season in the My Team career mode. Didn't manage it in real life, though, so it's certainly not over for Max Verstappen at the end of the first weekend. But, yeah, wasn't the most exciting winter break, but whatever we've done, it's clearly worked. As we round the final few corners, then, of the Bahrain Grand Prix, for the very first time in an F1 2021 career mode, we're actually going to lead a championship. It hasn't happened up until now. Round past Mick Schumacher, in towards the final corner of the Bahrain Grand Prix. It's taken 5 seasons, but 2-2 Motorsport is going to be on top. We've had wins before, but never like this.
Fantastic drive, just fantastic. You deserved that race win.
That's it for another spectacular Grand Prix here in Bahrain and a real champion's drive to take the win. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
I think the key here is just the quality of the racecraft, you know? I mean, how many overtakes did they make overall? I'm sure we have a stat person keeping score somewhere, and it was fantastic to watch, wasn't it? This is a strategic sport at the end of the day, but it's always really gratifying to see close-fought battles on track. It's what all the fans are after.
Welcome then to the podium, our top 3 drivers. What a great effort from them today in a very difficult race. Let's have a quick look at how the drivers' standings have changed. Mr. Monaco takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
I have to give it to Mr. Monaco. That was a commanding performance today. Very impressive indeed.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. The owner-drivers team moved to the top of the table. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
I cannot believe we have just managed that at the end of the first race of the year. But there we go. P1 in the Bahrain Grand Prix from 7th on the grid there. I'll be honest, we don't quite have the ultimate pace still of Red Bull and Ferrari, it would appear there. Lando Norris just finishing behind those two. But if we can outstrat them, we are certainly within a shout this season round there. But we take home the dub. Max Verstappen, P2 in the end there with fastest lap, means he's only 6 points away after the opening race weekend of the year there. Charles Leclerc rounds out the podium. Jumped Lando late on in the day. Would have loved to have Lando on the podium alongside us there. But Gasly in 5th ahead of Yuki Tsunoda. Perez there in 7th. Ocon means Alpine have already outscored what they managed last year there. 4 points to last season's 2. What a brilliant start to the year it was from the young Frenchman there in his French team. George Russell in 9th ahead of Daniel Ricciardo there. A tough weekend for McLaren. Had good pace but just lacked consistency. And then a really bad strategy as well from them there. Sainz in 11th ahead of Stroll, Zhou, Mazepin and Bottas there. And you got both Haas, Williams and Alfa Romeos rounding out the order at a lap down when all is said and done there. Hamilton were the only man not to make it to the checkered flag, means of course Drivers' Championship is the same as the race results. Constructors wise though as well, take it in, savour it. 37 points out on top for 212 Motorsport there. How long that'll last is anybody's guess, but already 8 of the 11 Formula 1 teams have scored there, and I think they're the 8 that we would predict to score by the end of the year. I am so happy I haven't simmed this season, even if it's just for that one race victory alone. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well, and yeah, we'll be back tomorrow as we head back to Shanghai, the first time on F1 2021. Will it bring us the same luck? Only time will tell. You guys do not want to miss that. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.